Welcome back to, this will be video 12 in our video series, and just as a quick recap, if you're new to watching these, we're basically following from the very first step how we make our swords and the various processes that entail it. So we've been following a pretty intricate longsword build that we're doing. So this is the blade. That's the first several parts of our first several videos, if I can talk. So we go through a bunch of processes on this. It's not done yet. We still have a finished grind to do. And then from there we move to the guard. We kind of sidestepped because we were waiting a while on materials for the guard. But now we're on to this guy. From the last video, he was flat before, and I got that slight S-curve worked into it. And I was going to use the torch and do some hot work to do that, but I didn't need to. Basically, I just put it in the vise, clamped it, and was able to give it enough, to get a slight S-curve. And I basically had to work it down in the section to get a nice smooth S-curve on both sides. So that is present in the historical piece. Hopefully you can see that. So next step is we already traced our detail sections that we're going to do as cutouts. We're going to mill out. And then after we mill, we're going to do lots of firework. So let me jump over to the historical piece to show you where we're getting the detail parts from. So these are the details that we'll be milling in to our guard. As you can see, they're not straight lines. So the three circles we'll use the end mill on, but the straight lines, or the the cutouts here, we will mill with a straight line, and then we'll have to do a lot of filing to flare that opening out on each side. So one thing we're going to do is our piece will be a bit more robust than the original piece you see here. So each of these lines here is less than 1/10 of an inch on the original, and our customer will be fighting with this piece, so we're going to beef those up a little bit at his request, and they'll still have the overall same look though. So we're done with the milling portion, and you'll notice I'm in a different shirt. It's a different day, so we've been spending some time on this guy. But we got the features milled out for each side, and as you can see in the line there, so we have the circles milled out, and then we have the straight lines milled out. However, the straight lines need to curve up slightly and widen as they go towards the end here. And you can see that in the Sharpie sketch. So we're going to go over to the file. And instead of having to hand file everything, we have a little tool that helps us with filing. And if you guys do any file work, this tool is very helpful. So let's go take a look at that. Alright, so here's our fun little air file. It's hooked to our air canister. And basically it makes filing a whole lot easier. So, looking at the piece now, we're going to be going down and just running the file. Oop, put it in before I turn it off. And just working the blade a bit, or the guard. Sometimes the air file doesn't fit. Okay, so we are finished up with the guard. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, there we go. So this is the finalized guard with the S-curve and everything in it. So we flared out the slots so they were straight. We had to flare them out. The air file didn't work, as you saw, so I was doing a lot by hand. Actually, I lied. We're not totally finished. The internal edges of the slots and of the circles still need to be softened up. And that's something I'll do once it's mounted to the blade and the blade's pretty much finished. I'll soften up those edges. So we also added the etch lines, so just like the original piece, so we have 2, 2, and 2, and that's on both sides of the piece. So the guard is ready. So the next video we'll be mounting the guard to the blade, and then we'll be starting work on the grip. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.